Hey guys, welcome to Amalicious Cooking. Now today I'll be doing sweet potato pudding. Now my potatoes are already peeled and they're in some water soaking. So I've got a piece of yellow yam and I've also a piece of cassava. Now I've got about 3 pounds of potatoes, and because they're in the water I just leave them in there because I'm gonna grate them and it makes it easier to grate. At the moment I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way, just like my grandparents, my mom. Yes, the old-fashioned way, grater. Now in this bowl I've got some coconut that I've already taken out of the shell, so I'm gonna blend these actually. So I'm gonna cut them up in small pieces and blend. Now I also have a tin of coconut milk which I'm gonna add to it because I had 2 coconuts and one of them wasn't good. So now I'll have to add some of this tin one to it, just to make it up, because it's a lot of potato and I need coconut milk. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this up into small pieces. I'm going to grate my potato, so I'm using this small side to grate, and this is how I do it. If you want, you can use a food processor to do this process. Just use the grate side. It's, you get a bit of texture in your pudding when you grate it. It's not too bad. I like it like this, to be honest. I like it with a bit of texture. So yeah, I'll be grating all these ground provision. That's the texture of it when you grate it. Not too bad. Now I've grated most of my potato. Don't mind the color, it's just oxidization. Yam, I never mind that, nothing is wrong with it, it's just because I've peeled it. See what I said, it's easier to grate. It just melts. Yeah, see, and that's what it looks like. Yeah, when you grate it. So it's much easier to grate, that's why I leave it till last. But when I was a little girl, they used to say that yellow yam itches the skin. Well, it might do for some people, so just take care when doing that. Maybe you just want to wear a little gloves, but it's just that when you grate it, the gloves might get tangled in the grater, So yeah, see, it looks like egg. But now I'm gonna do the cassava. So this is a bit more firm, the cassava. It so had dasheen in it as well. Instead of the cassava, you can use cocoa as well instead of using the cassava. I've tried it with both, with the cassava, and I've tried it with dasheen, I've tried it with cocoa. So whichever way you want to do it, it's great. The end process is beautiful. So now I am going to combine these, just mix them up a bit. Just combine them together. Just to distribute all the everything. So I'm just now combining everything together. So I just want everything to mix in. And this is very important, this process, because you need everything to be evenly distributed. So I'm gonna do my coconut now and show you what else I do. So I'm just evenly distributed all the other ingredients that I've used in it. Yeah, that looks good now. Yeah. So I'm also gonna add these raisins. They were soaked in rum and a bit of wine. So I'm gonna blend these just a little bit, and these are gonna go into my mixture as well. I am going to sweeten my milk, and I've just put a little ginger in it, and this is about 5 cups of coconut milk and 2.5 cups of brown sugar. So we have to sweeten this, and then we're gonna add the rest of spice. So it's sweetened to taste, this coconut milk. So now I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of vanilla, and this is about 2 tablespoons vanilla, because you want it really spicy, you know, really nice. Rose water here, so I'm gonna add about 2 as well, 2 tablespoons of rose water. Got some nutmeg that's already been grated. I've also got some fresh ones, so I might put that in. And I've got mixed spice, so I'm gonna add about 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. I've had 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and I've got some raisins that I soaked. These are already soaked in some wine, so I've just blend it a little bit, and see, the consistency is not too bad, so I'm gonna add it. This is going to be added as well, but not to this mixture. Now I'm gonna add some ground mixed spice. I've already added some mixed spice, but this is the one I use for I use this one also for baking, so I'm just adding a little bit more extra, just extra spice. So I'm gonna mix this up. You can taste it just to make sure that you're having the right flavor, because that's the best way you're gonna know that the flavors are right. So you need to taste it as well. So you can just pop a little bit in your hand and taste. I'm gonna wash my hands, but that's really good. So when I tasted it, it wasn't too sweet, it was just flavorsome, really nice. So I'm happy with this mixture. And you can taste the coconut milk as well. So I've got 3 cups of flour here that I am going to add to it, only because of the amount. So I'm gonna add 3 cups of flour, and I've got 1 teaspoon salt. I'm gonna add to it as well. So you have to add salt to it, because you need to bring the taste up. So I've added the flour, and also I'm gonna add my raisins. Not too much. I might add some more later on. Yes. Yeah. You need to mix everything in and make sure it's well incorporated. I add a bit of milk at a time. In this big blue bowl, I've got like 5 cups of coconut milk. So I don't think I'm gonna use all of it, because I'm gonna leave some of it for the top. So I do 1 mixing. It's not gonna come out as long as you mix it really well. Make sure all the flour is evenly distributed throughout. There's no flour anywhere else. I'm just mixing everything together, and my oven has already been preheated. I have a gas oven, so I just put it on 5 somewhere. It heats up to about 200. I don't want it any higher because I don't want the pudding to burn, so I try to keep it at a good temperature where I can slow cook it. So I cook it for about 2.5 hours. So it cooks slowly in my oven. I don't want the consistency too runny either. It smells so good. Oh my God. It smells beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So I've added a little bit more of the mixture, and I'm just mixing it in. This is very important, guys. Make sure that you mix these ingredients well. Yes, because you don't want any lumps. Now you just, when you look at it, you can see that it's just potatoes, and you don't want any flour lump anywhere. So just make sure you mix it properly. Okay? Yeah. And it smells gorgeous. I like this consistency. Yes, I'm gonna portion it out now. I like this consistency. And all the flour and everything is incorporated. So for me, this is perfect. I do not add cornmeal to my mixture, and my pudding always come out fantastic. It's not necessary once you've used some of like the yam and the cassava and a bit of flour. You don't need anything else than your spice. But this is how I bake my sweet potato pudding. So, and that's the consistency. Wait, let me change from this spatula to a big spoon so you can see better. And there it is. See? This is my consistency. It's nice and runny. Yeah, so that's it. So I'm gonna portion it out into my tins, and I'll show you what happened next. Now these are what I'm gonna bake them in, these trays. This is what I have popped them in, these little trays. So I'll show you the finishing product when it's finished. I'm gonna pop them in. Right, I've already make this little extra sauce for the top. So I've had some butter in and some spices, but I'll list all the spices in my description. So this is coconut milk with sugar and spices with a little bit of butter, not too much. So I'm gonna add it to a pot and just let cook it for a bit, and then add it to the top of my puddings. Cook it a little bit, and then I'm gonna add it on the top.